Ty Gibbs finally gets that long-awaited first career win, and is Bristol Motor Speedway back? Let's break down NASCAR at the last great Coliseum. Hello everybody, welcome to Dirty Air. I'm your host Alex Lambert, and let's talk about NASCAR at Bristol, baby. It was a good race. Ty Gibbs gets his first career win after battling off Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, the two dominant cars of the day. Ty Gibbs gets up there, grabs that first career win, an emotional first career victory for Joe Gibbs and the team, and of course Ty Gibbs, the driver. We'll break that down a little bit. We'll talk about the race as a whole. What did we think of the lower downforce, higher horsepower? It seemed like this was the most realistic Bristol race that we've seen in multiple years now. It felt like I was watching Bristol from 2020, 2019, 2018, and beyond. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll go through the top 10, talk about some of the crashes, Kyle Busch retaliation on Riley Herbst, all that stuff. Of course, we'll take a look at the points. Let's go ahead, dive into it. Ty Gibbs, what a fantastic win for Ty Gibbs. And this was really a show of a lot of talent. I feel like when we go to Bristol, this is a racetrack, the best drivers. It's similar to Martinsville, maybe even a few other tracks on the schedule. But especially Bristol, it seems like we always get those, I wouldn't say veterans, but the best drivers win at this racetrack, right? Like Kyle Busch dominating here, Kurt Busch dominating here, Joey Logano with some wins here, Denny Hamlin with wins here. Like the big names are always winning at this racetrack, or at least the top drivers tend to always win at this racetrack. There's a few, scenarios where some underdog drivers or underdog winners, or not underdog winners, but underdog drivers will finish up front in certain situations, and that's always been the case at Bristol. But this felt like a really real good Bristol race. So congratulations to Ty Gibbs, an emotional win. That is huge for Ty Gibbs. And we talk about when you break out, get the first win. And this is Ty Gibbs' 130th career start. You talk about all the news this offseason. Oh, he's not showing up to meetings or whatever that was with the lawsuit going on. Ty Gibbs, he stayed strong. He's probably been the best Joe Gibbs Toyota all season long. He's been consistent, running in the top 10 every week. And it's been a fantastic start to the year, and probably the biggest turnaround by any driver in the field this year compared to last year. So yes, he's going to most likely make the chase if he keeps up this pace, and what a fantastic win for the 54 team. A show of a lot of talent today. Also says a lot that Blaney and Larson couldn't get by him at the end. Blaney also raced him clean. You have a feel when a driver wins, like it was a positive feel. Everybody must like Ty Gibbs, which can sometimes be a good thing. Like when Logano wins, it's not always as positive, but Logano's kind of doing his own thing. So that's just how that goes. But, right, just overall, I thought it was a good race. If we want to talk a little bit about the racing itself, was it the best race that we've ever seen? I thought it was really good. I thought it felt like a solid race. And I'll just say this real quick. With this, whatever we're doing this season, with the points change and the car package changes, the aerodynamics, the horsepower and such, the racing is, to me, a lot better. I feel like I'm watching real NASCAR races where the best drivers are shining, the best drivers are up front and racing it out. And it's not more, it's less circumstantial and more the driver's talent showing to display. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing more legit racing, which I think is a lot better. So are the cars closer together? Are we seeing these big, crazy, wild moments all throughout the entire season? Maybe not as much, but overall the racing has just been a lot better. You're able to pass. The drivers like it too, which is usually a good sign. So this different package, this lower aerodynamics and this higher horsepower, the drivers, it's made a lot bigger difference than I think we originally expected. So hopefully we continue to move in the right direction. I feel like I'm watching. I try to compare it a little bit to like 2018-ish or 2019-ish. It feels like we're kind of closer to that. And the mile and a halves are still solid. So yes, fantastic racing today, I thought, by everybody. There was a little bit of tire wear involved also. I just thought it was overall a good Bristol race. Felt like a real Bristol race. You had some underdogs up front also. Let's take a look at the top 10. Ty Gibbs getting the win. Ryan Blaney coming up just short again. I did not know this before today. Ryan Blaney has never won at Bristol, which is crazy because he's led so many races there, has run up front at so many races, has multiple wins at Martinsville, which is kind of a similar track, at least the same size. So the fact that Ryan Blaney hasn't won at Bristol is surprising to me and a bit wild. There's been a few close calls. I know he's wrecked from the lead one time. I believe that was 2019. So a frustrating few races for Ryan Blaney. Comes up just short again today. couldn't quite get by Ty Gibbs there on the final lap. Raced him clean. That was a heck of a good race between some top drivers in NASCAR right now. Kyle Larson getting third, obviously led the most laps. If you look at the laps led, Kyle Larson led 284, Blaney 190, Ty Gibbs only 25, and then there's only 4 lap leaders today. Chase Elliott leading 6, which is certainly interesting there. I think that was under the caution where he stayed out. But yeah, Ty Gibbs able to sneak up on him at the end. He was definitely faster at the end, and sometimes things can play a role. We saw the bottom groove sort of move up to the top, so that's how he was able to beat Blaney and Kyle Larson. So they definitely dominated. Blaney was probably faster than Larson, so he probably would have ended up leading more laps if we look at the laps led, but the pit crew just kept messing him up. So that needs to be addressed because that's been a problem all season for the 12 team, unfortunately. Tyler Reddick finishing in the 4th position, another strong run for the 45 Toyota. Once again, keeps him up front in the points. Chase Briscoe finishing 5th now pushes his way farther up into the points now, which is good for Chase Briscoe. Todd Gilliland, what a run finishing 6th. I said, Bristol's like a driver's racetrack. If you're a good driver, solid driver, you're going to shine at this track, even if you're not in the top equipment as much. Like Todd Gilliland, I think Todd Gilliland is a solid driver in my opinion, and he had a decent enough car today to get a top 10. I thought that was a phenomenal run for that 34 team. We'll see if they can build off of it. But Bristol always sort of has those sort of random top tier drivers up front. Remember it was like Bubba Wallace was leading a few years ago. Remember the Matt DiBenedetto in 2019 when Matt DiBenedetto, we thought he was going to win that race. That was a huge underdog story. So we kind of got a little bit of one today with Ty Gibbs winning his first race. And then, of course, Gilliland finishing 6th. Joey Logano ended up finishing in the 7th position. A good race by Joey. A little bit of bumping and banging there with some drivers. Ryan Preece finishing 8th. All those RFK Fords always seem to be really close in speed. The other two were just, not too far behind him there. Denny Hamlin finishing 9th. Was expecting a little more out of Denny today per standard. Like we're used to seeing Denny borderline winning the race. So a bit surprised to see him not exactly have that much speed today, but overall finished 9th. Not a bad day by any means, but it just wasn't Denny Hamlin's race, I guess. Hocevar with a solid 10th place finish. Great run. We've seen a turnaround from a couple of drivers. I mentioned Ty Gibbs is probably the biggest. Hocevar is right there with it because Hocevar had a lot of speed last year, but didn't win any races and didn't finish a lot of races. Had a lot of bad results. I feel like we've seen a bit of a turnaround. He's talked about how he's, sort of took Mark Martin's advice, saving to the end a little bit. That's what he's been doing this season, and it's been fantastic for him. He's saving his equipment. He's already a good driver. He's an aggressive driver, and he's not going to not be aggressive, but he's going to be smarter while doing it. Does that make sense? Like, you're going to tie in all of them. Good race car driver, aggressive race car driver, and smart race car driver is how we're seeing him go from not finishing the race to finishing 10th on a top 10 on a somewhat consistent basis. So I'm excited to see what the 77 can do moving forward. No unnecessary wrecks today. And I don't think he's done a whole lot of that throughout his career either. There were a few wrecks today. Let's talk about some drivers that got bad results, right? You look at Alex Bowman, who unfortunately didn't make it to the end of the race, got caught up in a wreck early. That was unfortunate for him. The Trackhouse guys got caught up in some trouble. I think it was Connor Zilic with some tire failures. SVG not finishing today. SVG has just always had a lot of trouble at this racetrack. I don't know. It's like, I think he said one time he might as well be going backwards. So just a struggle here at Bristol for SVG. Just has not been able to get a grip on this particular racetrack. A really tough oval for a lot of guys that are coming into the sport like SVG. So it's just a rough day overall for SVG. We'll see him bounce back at the road courses and bounce back at some of the ovals next week, starting in Kansas potentially. Kyle Busch, Riley Herbst. It looks like Riley Herbst got on the left rear of Kyle Busch, sort of spun him out. Kyle Busch did retaliate at the end with under 5 laps to go, sort of gets into Riley Herbst. At least didn't show him a lot of grace there. Overall, it's just, it's two drivers that are just not having the best last few seasons. And Herbst was having a good day today, too, which was kind of odd. I mean, we started up in 4th, which was a bit of a surprise, and fell back a little bit. Ultimately didn't finish very well after this wreck. But, ultimately it was a better showing of speed from Riley Herbst, but it hasn't been the best year for him either. So we'll continue to watch what comes out of that throughout the week. Kyle Busch, Riley Herbst. I don't want to go into this Kyle Busch rabbit hole, but Kyle Busch is better than 25th going a lap down at Bristol. You don't win 8 races here, or however many it is, and just be that bad. It's definitely an equipment problem. Austin Dillon's not that bad either. So I know a lot of people like to hate on Austin Dillon, but he's been driving around for 12, 13 years now. He's a solid driver just off that experience. So yeah, frustrating day for the RCR Chevys. I don't expect that to change anytime soon. So try not to go down a rabbit hole with that one. Let's take a quick look at the point standings here. Once again, we're sort of getting into that interesting part of the season. 8 of the 26 races complete before the reset. Tyler Reddick still your points leader by 62. Ryan Blaney catching in on him a little bit there, but still it's a bit of a difference. You see here the points, how far back they are from the leader, and then how far they are in or out of the chase, which is obviously 16th or better. You see Chase Briscoe now just 1 point below. So Briscoe climbing back up, and Chase Briscoe is going to make it, but the concern is Chase Briscoe being seeded high enough to win a championship. So seeding does matter here also. Like, they're saying you need to be top 6 to try to get in. The Fox booth is saying you need to be top 6 to have a real shot to win the championship. I don't know if I fully agree with that, but yeah, being seated higher is certainly going to be an advantage under this point system. You see Hocevar sliding up to 14th, Suarez having a solid year. SVG still in right now, but only by 1 point. So it was a bad day today for SVG. And you can, just kind of look through the entire point standing. Disastrous day for Bowman. I mean, he only got 1 point on the day. That's just one more than he got the last 3 weeks when he wasn't racing. So, yeah, certainly not a good day at all for him when you look at the points. But that's it. Really all there is to talk about. I think I covered everything that happened today. It was a lot. I thought it was a good race. Let me know what you thought of the race. I thought it was a legit, straight up, decent, good race. Like, it wasn't fantastic. We didn't get that crazy wild moment, which if you're not a fan of these calm races like Martinsville last week or 2 weeks ago or Darlington a few weeks ago, like if that's not your style exactly, that's okay, because we're going to go to some races in the summer at night and we're going to get those crazy wild finishes. They're going to come. But it's going to be more straight up and legit, in my opinion. So I like it. That's it. Really all there is to talk about. And, of course, about Kyle Busch finishing, 3 laps down today. Let's get rowdy.